How you guys doing? I'm Grandmaster Evan, and I'm the founder of the Anonymous Liberty Media channel on YouTube. I also have a few podcasts on Anchor FM, and also have a few on platforms like Minds, MeWe, Holness, Tumblr, BitChute, and also Twitter. Well, I want to talk about something that's been kind of a really funky thing, funky, F-U-N-K-Y, funky. Play that funky music. I don't know what that thing song is, but I want to talk about things that, what makes our own government think that in their own minds they're protecting us from ourselves. From, say, rock music to buying a automobile from overseas, which in their minds, well, you could buy one over here. Yeah, you can. But there's some cars that that's not in the United States that like we all have a dream car. Okay? We all have a dream car. Mine's a 1970 AMC Rebel machine. I can't own the big one, but I got the diecast version of it. Diecast. Like, you know, your favorite music. Like, for example, back in the 50s, it was a pretty good time in the 50s, you know, but it was post World War II. The war ended. And a lot of things happened. The Drive 5 Chevy, Elvis swinging his hips and shit, and a lot of things been going on. You know, the Korean War just ended about the mid-50s, but it was the time that music started to get really big. Chubby Checker, Chuck Berry.
Knowledge is free. We are anonymous. We
Hold
are
on.
We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Close. I hit telemarketers.
We are anonymous. We are legion.
For affordable health insurance.
Telemarketers can kiss my ass. Hate telemarketers. Well, over time, I got done watching a video by Vox, and it was about the music. You know, over time, culture time, it was like, the 50s had Elvis, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, Chubby Checker, Chuck Berry, Benny King, B.B. King. I was a big fan still this day of Robert Johnson, the founder of the blues, the godfather of blues, the godfather of rock, which came from the blues and shit like that. But over time, when Robert Johnson was, before he died, he couldn't play a note on his guitar. Couldn't play a note. And so he left. After 6 months, came back and he played the guitar like ringing a bell. And people question him, how did he play so well after 6 months being gone? So, if you look at the movie The Crossroads with Ralph Macchio, where he's learning to be a blues artist, there's a scene where they're at the crossroad where the story of Robert Johnson was told. How he sold his soul to the devil to play music. And right down through his time, 50s, 60s, 70s, the 70s were the birth of heavy metal. Birth of heavy metal with Black Sabbath. And it was at the time, even throughout the 80s, it was a rebellion against authority. And it got a lot of televangelists talking their shit, yada yada. Heavy metal this, Satan this, heavy metal whatever. It's rebellion. The heavy metal was about rebellion, rebelling. Now, the term rebelling is against no authority. You rebelled against your parents' authority. You rebel against the authorities of your teachers. And we needed rebels. We needed to rebel. But people say, you need church. You need to start going to church. God will save you. He'll save your soul. If you really stop and think, look, you could go to church and still listen to music. Jesus was a rebel. He rebelled against the authorities of the Roman Empire. The guy was not a threat to anybody because he was a very peaceful guy. No, he was the first rebel. But he had a cause. He was teaching about life. Teaching about life. Now, if you read the part of the Bible where, call it, what name is, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were banned from the Garden of Eden because they ate the apple. They ate the apple of forbidden knowledge. Now, if you ever played the game Assassin's Creed, the first, second, the third, also the one where Desmond dies, it's still evolved around the apple of Eden. Okay, the apple of Eden, the piece of Eden, the forbidden knowledge. Now, if you go to the AC2, where evolves around the apple itself. They hit the button, something on the piece of Eden, and it shows all what's the knowledge they're not supposed to see yet. This was kind of like the Datacron, the Datacron of knowledge. It wasn't. Nobody was ready to see it yet. Nobody was ready for it yet. Nobody was ready for it. So when you start to look at what rebelling means, it means it's not rebelling against. You're a youth, okay, the youth, and even Homer in his old age was rebelling. Like, what was he rebelling against? No, he was working at a plant that was not very safe and sanitary to work at. The city was corrupted. The police chief was also corrupted and shit. Marge was a police officer for a short time, and then all of a sudden she realized the police force was corrupted. So was the mayor. And music told us something. Music told us a story it helped us get through the bad times, the good times. It taught us to. It got us to laugh, to smile, and if we were down and out, there was a song that kind of how it gets through, but also music that kind of rebelled against the authority of teachers. Try to break your spirit, break your will to the corporate masters. Now, a lot of us, we are car nuts. Whether we collect diecasts or we collect the real thing that actually you can drive, but I'm talking about the real, the 3,000-pound automobile that you can drive. 25-year rule. There are rules in some states, especially here in California, which is a fucking liberal state. I wish liberals would go to hell, but they have a right to exist because they have a voice as well. But there's been this 25-year rule that the reason it's there, from what I learned, is that the reason the 25-year rule is there and is in hoping that you, the person who dreamed of a car, kind of like the 99 through 02, about 03, Nissan Skyline GTR R34. Now, that car's a holy grail. The reason the assholes in suits put it there is that hoping that by 25 years we would forget about it. No. It's not that easy to forget a car that you've wanted since you were 16 years old. My car was is a 1970 AMC Rebel Machine. Yeah, I'm a Ford guy, but one car out of the Ford lineup is an AMC car that's been around for 1 year. 1 year. But it is up there with the Dodge Charger, the Chevy Chevelle. Okay. It was up there also with the Ford Torino and the Mercury Cyclone. It was part of that highly powerful elite cars. I'm like, man, this thing with a 390 putting out 360 horsepower, holy shit. Holy shit. Now, when you start to realize that these rules are, I mean, they're saying, well, we're here to protect you from you. Okay, well, 1985, between 1980 and 89, the youth suicide was at an all-time high. Now, here's a funny one, okay? Tipper Gore, the ex-wife of Al Gore, bought her 8-year-old daughter, a Prince album. And she about busted a gasket when her daughter was listening to a song by Prince talking about a chick masturbating to a magazine. She didn't blame herself. She didn't blame her daughter. She blamed the legend, the icon, the Hall of Famer, Prince. Now, if you're a parent that buys a record or a video game for your kid, now, in the gaming industry, we got the ESRB ratings for people. Now, back then, you didn't have labels. Okay, you didn't have labels. Now you do. It didn't take an effect for another 7 years. Okay, 91, 92 is when they used the label. Hey, no problem. Hey, there's no problem putting the label on. Just you're just like going about the wrong fucking way. But over that time, from 70 to 90, that's 20 years. But you got politicians and television saying, well, this music is as Satan's words through these musicians and rock groups, trying to influence your children to bow down to the haunted goat called Satan. No. I mean, you gotta understand. Now, from 70 to 75, we were still in the Vietnam War. Okay, I was born after the war ended. I was born on January 1st of 76. About a few months after the war ended. Okay, I was born on New Year's Day of 76. I'm 43, by the way. And I was a very inquisitive kid, you know. Want to know what things were, how they worked. But yeah, I got some trouble for it, but you know, I still wanted to learn. I was rebelling in my own way, but I was still inquisitive on how things work, what they were. But I also got into some trouble. But over time, I learned that sometimes when you hear a certain, like for example, MC was at MC5. They had a song where the lead singer said, "Play that jam, motherfucker," and then as a kid, you're like, you gotta be knocking on the door. What did you say? Nothing. MC5 was the first group to put in that foul language in a song. The Who Are You? The song Who Are You was like part was, and the song was or Dorothy said, "Who the fuck are you?" Like you went like, what did he say? But then Pink Floyd, Money. Part of the song it said, "Goody good bullshit," because Pink Floyd was a very influential band that was also up there with Frank Zappa, who was very anti-war, anti-establishment, but they did it their own way. Now, if ICP had their song, one of their songs, it'll be on the top 15. But Insane Clown Posse made their own music, their own way. Yes, they're multi-millionaires. They did things their way. They had their own label. They did things their own way. They were independent. They were straight up anti. When it comes to the industry, anti-establishment of the music industry. Artists and groups wanted to be independent. They wanted to really do their own thing. But if you're an independent label, you can do as good as ICP, because you have your own targeted demographics, hardcore fans. That's why they go and buy the records and shit. And you could hear ICP on YouTube, or on a mixed CD, or a mixtape. A lot of songs, I mean, like throughout the 90s, I mean, since 85, you had John Denver, you had Dee Snider, and you had Frank Zappa really explaining and putting these politicians to task, because they put a list of songs that were the dirtiest. No, Rocky Mountain High was not about drugs. It was about the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. Because John Denver moved to Colorado. He changed his name to John Denver because he loved Colorado. And he often talk about Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. And some dumbass in a three-piece suit says, well, the song Rocky Mountain High is about getting high. No. It's about the beauty of the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. And, you know, it's pretty much how they take things the wrong way. They assume... Now, if they pulled a typical Gore and bought a Prince record and let their daughter here, Darling Nikki, about a chick that's masturbating to a magazine, well, you cannot blame Prince. You cannot blame your child. You are responsible. Come on. You're a parent. You bought a record for your child. That song talks about masturbating in a motel room to a magazine. I mean, how... And also... Now, the thing is, rules are like bones. They're made to be broken. When it comes to not just the industry, but also the auto industry. If you're a big fan of a car that's in the UK or in Japan or in Europe or in Australia. Now Australia and Brazil have a pretty good market because their cars are fucking badass. Now if you look at if you look at the Ford Falcon, I'm saying the 1973 Ford Falcon XB, that car's a badass. But Ford in 71 discontinued it because that car alone was outselling the Mustang. The Mustang became they call it a flagship vehicle for 50 some odd years. That's like GM had the Corvette being the flagship car of General Motors back in the early 80s when the Firebird, the Firebird was like becoming more popular, lighter by 100 pounds, faster than the Corvette, and people bought more Firebirds than the Corvette because the Firebird was faster during that time. From 80 to 83, the Corvette was like, dude, am I supposed to be the fastest one in the fleet? Why's the Firebird beating me? It's lighter by 100 pounds, better engine, everything else. But the 25-year rule, there's a term called a loophole. A loophole. But in California, not so much. Because in 1979, Volkswagen came out with a Rabbit. It's a diesel Rabbit. And it was putting out 40 miles per gallon, which is not too bad. But the assholes in California says, no, the emission's too big. 40 miles per gallon is too much. Really? Because about 5-6 years ago, Volkswagen sold a car that was 59 miles per gallon. 59 miles per gallon. Oh. 59 miles per gallon. Wow, that's a big big thing. Now, I'm a big fan of kind of the little guy. That's a Morris Mini. Now, imagine trying to get this car within the 25-year rule because it's a cool car, very practical, very fuel friendly. But they didn't have the market here in the States. Could you bring it? Depends on what state you're living in, really. But if you live in California, you have a high rate of a less of a chance to have a car that's very practical. It's fuel friendly. Doesn't do Mach 1. Doesn't outrun the cops. Which cops were like, yay, we got a car that we could catch up to and ram it. Until 2000. Holy shit. I mean, there are cars within the 25-year rule that I don't know why they put that way. I mean, 25 years is a bit too much. All it does, it makes people salivate even longer, but it's painfully, but over time, there's a thing called a loophole. A loophole. Now, if you look at the 1990 Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5 16 valve Evo 2, you can bring it. You can import it legally. But the Mercedes-Benz 190E Cosworth, oh hell no. You can't bring it. You can't import it. But you can import a 1980 Renault 5 Turbo, but not the 5 Turbo 2. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Good question. But censorship, see, these come in hand, which there are censorship. We're here to protect you from you. Really? So you're going to protect me from myself because you know better. Oh yeah. No you don't. But in the 80s of the music industry, the youth suicide rate was getting high, but high in the male demographics than the female demographics is. It was very low. The males were pretty high between 84 and 85, because that's when you had Judas Priest, you had Ozzy Osbourne, and you had groups like that. See, the thing is, when Judas Priest was sued by the group and the record label were sued because the parents assumed that the songs and the lyrics, the lyrics in the song and the record that the group had back in the time made them kill themselves. No. That's like blaming video games for mass shootings. You have to really blame the individual themselves. You cannot blame a record. You cannot blame a rock group, the song from the rock group. You cannot blame a video game. Okay. That's why now you have labels. You have rating systems of what kids can play and can't play, or what kids can hear and can't hear, because of the lyrics. The label's pretty good because it gets you to know that, okay, my kid wants the NWA and he's 10 years old. No, no, because the NWA at the time, from 1990 to about 95, time that Easy died, they were the most hated group in the United States. The FBI hated them. The LAPD hated them. Because every time that NWA would do a concert, the LAPD was right there. Right there. But at the time, still even today, LAPD is one of the most corrupted PD departments in California, along with the Fresno PD, the Fullerton PD. I live in Fresno. And you have Oakland PD. Okay? But LAPD was one of the worst corrupted police departments in California. Fresno PD is the most dangerous department in California. And it's in the Central Valley. Most dangerous. And so every time when NWA would do a concert, the LAPD was right there. But it was free speech. Writing a song, rapping or singing about it's free speech. Now, if you're at a concert, doing a concert, cops would be there, because not everybody in law enforcement likes these kind of groups or songs that they listen to, because to them it's anti-law enforcement, anti-government, anti-establishment, but it's still free speech in the song. If you're so, now these days, people are now overly sensitive, overly offended over a goddamn song, or over a game, or a movie, or a book, or a poster, or over something so not that don't offend anybody. But now, if you're offended by it, you are dumber than a box of rocks, covered in a second coat of paint, smelling like shit on the wall. Now, 85 was a time that it was stupid. But John Denver, Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, and Frank Zappa really took these assholes to task. But yet, it was the rock stars that won that battle, because, hey, look, if you want a label, put the label on there. Hey, it's fine. It's fine. Put the label on there, just in case if the parent decides, well, I'm gonna buy my child a Twisted Sister album, even though it has a label on the record, I'm fine with it. But if you're against that kind of music, don't buy it for them. Let them wait till they're older. They could get a job. Then they could buy the record or CD, because by the time the records were dying off, they're no longer, because the CDs were becoming more popular, and it was smaller, and they were better at the time. You had a portable, you had a boom box with cassettes, and you had the CD thing on top of the boom box. The boom box was about, what, $300 at the time? Now it's about, what, $150 on eBay or yard sales, about $4 at a yard sale and shit. Could you imagine having the biggest boom box from back in the 80s that still fucking works and shit? See kids put it on their big wheel, playing Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J and Lisa and Colt Jam. Oh, she was hot back in the day. She's fucking hot, dude. Fucking gorgeous, too. As a kid, I had a crush on Lisa and Colt. She was the lead vocalist for the group Colt Jam. And man, she was gorgeous, man. Holy shit. Lisa and Cult Jam. Whew, man. Talk about old school. I'm saying the early to mid 80s, old school. She was the group is now part of the old school area. I mean, you had mid to late 70s to early to mid 80s. That was the old school. I mean, like, dude. And but it wasn't bad. Hit the songs, the hip hop wasn't bad then. When 1990 to 95, where you bought cassette tapes of NWA, Public Enemy, Ice-T, and Body Count, a lot of heavy metal that did have that kind of language in the songs, you still bought that, whether at the cassette or a CD, you had the label on it, the label. Now, going back to the 40s and 50s, you know, it was the birth of the lowrider scene, you know, a lowrider scene. And California had one of the worst fucking laws ever to date. If you dressed a certain way and drove your car, you were stopped all the time by the police, all the time. A lot of it came from the Chicano group that dressed kind of cool, and they drove the baddest cars in the state. The cars were really clean, gleaming, shining like a shining. I mean, it was shiny. But it was just the start of the lowrider culture, and it kind of grew out in Southern California, and it came from a lot of the I don't know who started it, but it was a good. I mean, you had the Latinos and blacks doing it, and the cars were just looking good. But there are some vehicles that kind of look kind of tacky at it, you know. But the old school bombers were the ones that you rode in slow, and the cop would stop you if your car was like that much off the ground. It had to be that much off the ground for clearance, because if you went over a bumper like a little bump, it would scrape. But that's when the hydraulics came in. You rode slow, go over the bumps, you're good. But the cops were always hard on the Chicano drivers of the cars. I'm like, I remember hearing about it through guys who come into school, and they'll tell their stories about how cops back in the day would stop them, you know, and it just that it wasn't about rebelling against the authority. It was kind of finding your own niche that you could call your own. But yet you had Big Brother telling you, we're here to protect you from you. Again, even to this day. Right around when you had games like Midnight Club, Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, and everything else, the car culture from the mid-90s to the mid-2000s, it didn't get big until 2000 because of Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious really blew it wide open. I mean a global mile here. And between 2000 and 2005, you see people driving Honda Civics, Nissan Silvias, S15s. You see them drive Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution that came out, that finally came in 03. and Acura Integras and all other shit. You know, they started to bring out the Ford Focus, which was part of now part of the tuner thing, because Ford Focus, and you had the Dodge Neon S54 was kind of like the tuner killer, but you still give it yet. And it was a tuner scene. Dodge got into it, Ford got into it, but Chevy didn't do well in it with the Cobalt, because the Cobalt sucked. They gave the Cobalt an S badge, thinking, okay, now this is but it still sucked. It still sucked. So the the tuner scene started to look like the scene from back in the day, where cops are going to stop you no matter what you're driving or how it sounds, because in their minds, cops think we're stopping you or pulling you over because your exhaust is not stock. It's modified. Motherfucker, it's aftermarket. Don't give a shit. It's not stock. This is when they started to do that shit where they took your car. If it looked like this. This is a Silvia S15. They would take it, impound it, and crush it, because, in my opinion, I think the cops were jealous. I think the cops were jealous because the drivers had better looking cars. Simple as that. Better looking cars. And in my opinion, it pissed off the cops because the cars looked better, they ran better, and you could drive the baddest Evo or Skyline or Seville S15 or whatever. The car will look pristinely awesome, badass, shinier than a nickel's ass, and the cop will be like, I mean, even though they don't show that, you can look on their face, the cops were fucking jealous. I mean, the cops were fucking jealous, dude. I mean, it's like, I could go and get a 1970 Ford Escort RS 1600 Mark One to look as good as this, and still get pulled over because my car ran good, looked good, and was better looking than the car the asshole was driving. Better looking car. I mean, it is kind of funky how a cop would act as their authority. They're jealous, they're envious, vindictiveness, because somebody has a much better car, as they did during the time of the lowriders and the bombers. You know, the bombers, the car with the teared up, the cars with the. Here I'll show you. Let me see here. Come on, where's it at? Come on. Where's it at? Come on. If it looked like this, it's a 48 Buick. It's a 48 Buick Century. If it looked like this, good, like that, and you got pulled over for it, it wasn't your fault, because the car looked fucking beautiful. I mean, you could be driving a nice 55 Caddy, black, chrome trimming, chrome bumper, chrome hubcaps. This thing was shinier than a stripper's crotch. This car was beautiful and had the pointed tip on the bumper. Holy shit, this car looked good. But even back in the day, the cops would still stop you, and they'll make up like Well, the reason we stopped you because your car is that low. Why is that? Why is that? You know. My car back in the day has always been a 41 Willys. Always have been. And later down, 49 Merc, 50 Buick, a 55 through 57 Chevy, 58 Fury, 58 Impala, 60 Ford station wagon, 61 Pontiac Catalina, 64 Dodge Polara 330, 64 Thunderbolt, 63 Galaxy and a half, 63 Galaxy, 64 GTO, 63 Impala, 65 Catalina, shit, you know, I mean, 71 Plymouth Satellite station wagon, 71 Chevelle station wagon with a 427 with a 454, 39 Chevy panel truck. I got this last year. So 39 Chevy panel truck. I saw it, I liked it. I was like, this thing is beautiful as hell. This thing is nice. Yeah. See, it has the teardrop headlights on the side here. If you look, that's what the Bombers had. If you're driving a Chevy or a Plymouth or a Ford or a Cadillac, but you kind of got it to where you were riding in style, man, riding in style and shit. And but the cops at the time did not like it because you guys were your parents or your grandparents were just, or your great grandparents, if you're born in this era, century, your grandparents and your great grandparents drove the best cars, the Cadillacs, the Chevys, the Plymouths, the Chryslers, the Ford Chevys, that looked really fucking nice. That looked really nice. The 60s cars were nice too. You know, the Impala was a very popular car with the lowrider community and shit. Because whether you're driving a 58, 59, 62, 64, 65, 67, or if you're driving a 78 Monte Carlo or an 85 or was it a 84 through 86 Chevy Monte Carlo SS, or if you're driving a S10, the S10 was also part of the lowrider culture. It wasn't until the 80s and early 90s that it was that was part of it, you know. But back in the day, I'm saying the mid to late 40s and the early 50s, cops, man, they were like just, they did not give a good goddamn. They were just outright fucking jealous because your parents, your grandparents, even your great grandparents were driving cars that were freaking sweet. Nice cars. See, the auto industry and the music industry came hand in hand when it comes to certain things. If you wanted a car from Japan or from the UK or in Europe, you had to wait 25 fucking years. Okay? Or if you had the money to get it, but even though you still had to wait. You still had to wait 25 years. But now we got what now here's known fact. There's about 17 R34s in the U.S. right now. 17. To get it to legalize, you had to go around a loophole. Okay, a loophole. Now, in California, you needed a catalytic converter. In California, and other places. Why? This was brought out in the late 70s. Late 70s, where I was born. I was born in 76. And it was, I mean, fuck. Now these days, law enforcement is using what they've been using for decades, the civil asset forfeiture. And you don't have to be a drug dealer or a drug person or to have your shit taken. They'll just take your shit. If you have money, they'll take your money. If you have a car, they'll take your car. If you have a business that's valued at $2 million, they'll take it. It's all about money to these cocksuckers. Okay, it's all about money to these badge-wearing cocksuckers who are now a walking circumcised dick with badge. Because now you see most of them bald-headed now, looking like circumcised dick with teeth. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They will take your shit no matter what. I mean, they always have that thing, the routine. Well, we believe that you pay for your shit with drugs, or drug money, or kind of whatever it is. What you're going to take it. You won't be charged because I have said this many times. You could be a white guy driving a Mercedes-Benz that's cost $90,000. No problem. But if you're a black guy or a Latino driving the same car, costed around 60 G's, 30 grand less, you get stopped because you're driving a Benz. You're a black guy or you're a Latino. You might be a drug dealer because you're driving a nice car. Well, here's the white guy driving the same car, costed $30,000 more. But while you're a black guy or a Latino driving the same car, but it's $30,000 less, guess what? We're going to take your shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, you could be driving the nicest truck, nicest car, a really cool SUV, looking good, and I think, in my opinion, I think these cops are very jealous of you guys. Driving the nicest car, better plays, making better money. I don't know. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating or just stating the facts here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could be driving a nice Camaro or a nice classic car like a 48 Buick or a tuner from the 2000s, like an 02 Nissan Silvia S15, purple with granite paint job and whatnot, looking pretty good. Chrome rims, nice headlights. Jealous. Pure jealousy. That's my opinion there. Pure jealousy. Or you could be driving the baddest muscle car of all time, of your dreams, looking good, sounding good. It's loud, but not loud, that loud, but still looking, sounding good. But if your car's too clean, something is up. My God, you're driving a nice car. It's clean as fuck. There's not one crumb of dust or dirt or anything. You must have cleaned it after a drug deal. See, cops would think that way, okay? Cops would think that way. Big time. Oh yeah, big time. Big time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is good old Grandmaster Revan here. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. And if you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below, and don't forget to hit the bell for notification. And if you got the transmission, you are the resistance. Again, I am Grandmaster Revan. Knowledge is free, and if you ain't down with that, we got 3 words for you. Go fuck yourself. Peace out. I'm Revan. You're not. Fuck you. I'm out.